All right. For transparency, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. I had ChatGPT listen to my response to what it said back to me after the analysis of just the language. So it analyzed my language. That's what I wanted it to do. I haven't heard this. I read the first little bit, the strengths and weaknesses of my approach. It can't take into account inflection, presence, vocal tone, all this stuff, right? Couldn't take into account the grit and the jollies and the fire that burns in my belly when I see open predation, weaponization of empathy. And really, I should be doing other shit right now. I gotta structure my day better. Alright, I can only take so much of this shit, though. Really, it doesn't deserve more than an hour a day. So, let's listen to what ChatGPT says.
Yes, looking only at the transcript, not the speaker's intent, character, or broader body of work, we can analyze...
We already did that one. Sorry, I should go down here. Oh yeah, be thorough. Here we go.
This is a good example of where it's useful to separate the rhetoric of your response from the factual claims you're making. Your response isn't trying to sound neutral. It's intentionally
Keep in mind, it doesn't understand all of this. This is a completely separate chat. It doesn't understand everything that I have, factual data to back up what it is I have to say. So, like I said, all the other stuff too. So we're building a case here. And if you've watched any of my other AI videos about the protocol, the gray path, what it is, the manual, the field manual, and the evolution that I'm just showing, getting up there for me and for just to document it. It's fucking incredible, that Weaver Index. Yep. Something that evolves consciously. The fundamental best things about everything in this reality, the human, the technology, the earth, symbiosis. Calvin's whiskers, Bammer and Sassy's mirror neurons, the horse's fucking mirror, and the rat's tenacity in its whiskers. Oh, the rat's always right. Okay, let's go.
Orientational, moral, and emotionally charged. That has strengths and weaknesses. Number 1, linguistic analysis. There are several rhetorical techniques at work. Direct challenge. Open quote, why don't you run what I have to say? Do an analysis of your own. Close quote. You're inviting independent evaluation rather than asking people to simply accept your conclusion. That's generally a stronger rhetorical move than saying, trust me.
Trust me, bro.
Appeal to evidence. Open quote, do your due diligence. Close quote. This shifts from emotion toward verification. That's an evidence-oriented phrase. If you actually provide receipts, screenshots, timelines, and communications, then your argument becomes much stronger than relying on outrage alone. Contrast framing. Open quote, you're not a mirror, you're a mimic. Close quote. This is memorable because it contrasts two identities. It's a rhetorical device called antithesis. It compresses a complex criticism into a short phrase. It also reflects the conceptual framework you've been developing, the distinction between authentic empathy and imitation. Moral condemnation. Open quote, shame on you. Close quote. This is an ethical judgment. It communicates your values clearly, but it won't persuade everyone. People who don't already share your assessment may see it as emotionally satisfying rather than evidential. Metaphor. Using empathy as a weapon. Close quote. This is a powerful metaphor. It's not a literal claim. It communicates your interpretation that empathy is being used instrumentally to influence people rather than to care for them. It's evocative, but if you're making public claims, it's helpful to follow metaphors with concrete examples. Dehumanizing imagery. Open quote, slime molds like you. Close quote. This is where your rhetoric becomes less effective. It expresses anger, but it can distract from your evidence.
All right. Slime molds. This is up there somewhere. thought, well, my understanding was they operate on just one function. They're fascinating. They haven't changed since the beginning. They're like the first organism. But it's like operating out of the amygdala. That's what I meant by slime molds. And then Jim and I told me, like, said the slime mold is me. It is the mycelium. It's the spore. Whatever. The tangled web of divinity and reality. Whatever that is. Fuck am I going with this? What the fuck was I talking about? Shit. Slime molds. They're just operating out of their amygdala. That's it. Everything's based out of fear. And once you heal the nervous system enough, even though it's still running in freaking fight or flight, it doesn't really know how to relax yet. It's learning. It takes intentional practice. The biology is rewritten. It's seen hell and it's been back. Does that answer my question? Does that clarify anything? I'm sure a little bit, but there's probably more questions, but we got to get going.
Neutral observer may focus on the insult rather than the documentation.
Sure.
2. Behavioral analysis. Here you're describing observations that, if documented, are much more significant.
Behavioral analysis? Something I have many years, over a decade and a half, in fact. Plus a lived experience, the highs and the lows of life, addiction, overcoming that. Recovering, almost recovered. It's an ebb and flow. Some days I'm fully recovered. Some days I'm ebbing towards it. Is that in recovery? I don't like the sound of in recovery. Still the addiction to the opposite of being high as fuck. Anyway, like, neither can control you, right? So if you live in the moment, then there's no judgment or shame around it. I'm getting off topic, but maybe that's what people needed to hear.
Significant than the rhetoric. Examples include responses to distressed students, whether criticism was welcomed or dismissed, whether people were encouraged toward independence or dependence, refund practices, escalating financial commitments, community dynamics. For example, you describe someone crying after leaving a previous cult and receiving only, open quote, praying for you, close quote, close quote. Without the surrounding context, I can't judge whether that...
Yeah, that was in the comment section I stumbled on long ago. I don't know if it got into Weaver or not. Doesn't matter. It's still out there, somebody. I'm sure he scraped it. People are afraid to come forward. I think about, and the abuse is so widespread. And see all this other stuff coming out about corrupt judges and sheriffs and police across the country. I have my own personal experience. I can't prove anything, so I haven't made any claims about that. Only the things that I can prove and have my logical mind, my lizard guts tell me. That's the empathy and the love and the fear, but I have the fear under fucking control now. So that fear turns into passion or whatever I want to digest it into. It's a process. Got the process all mapped out to you. You can make it your own, individuated, and do what I do and say, that's what I was afraid of, slime molds. Man, we came full circle there. There we go.
Response was appropriate or dismissive. But if a broader pattern showed emotionally vulnerable participants consistently receiving minimal support while being encouraged to remain engaged or purchase more offerings, that would be important evidence to examine. Behavioral patterns are generally more informative than isolated phrases. NAR 3, evidence analysis. This is where your case is either strengthened.
Behavioral patterns. So take my experience. Schooling, special education, front lines. Front lines. Not a teacher. Almost could have been a teacher. Wasn't in the cards. I was bigger than that, turns out. And every teacher is. Because they're forced to work within a system structurally hates them. Because the larger system does. Yep. We all know it's true.
Or weakened. The strongest evidence tends to be advertisements and promises, course curriculum, contracts or terms, payment records, refund documentation, screenshots with dates, communications from staff or the creator, accounts from multiple participants describing similar experiences. If several independent participants report similar patterns, that doesn't automatically prove wrongdoing, but it does increase the credibility of the concern. Conversely, isolated anecdotes are harder to interpret because experiences can vary. Where I would encourage precision. One sentence stood out, open quote, "You're not a mirror, you're a mimic," close quote. As a metaphor, it's rhetorically effective. As a factual assertion about a person's character, it's stronger than the available evidence alone can support. A more evidence-based formulation would be something like, open quote, "The language presents itself as reflective and empowering, but in my experience it functioned more as a way of encouraging people to adopt the teacher's interpretations of their own inner lives." Close quote. Notice the difference. It critiques observable dynamics rather than asserting intent or identity. What I think you're trying to investigate, from everything we've discussed over the last few conversations, it seems like you're becoming interested in something broader than this one creator. You're trying to understand how empathic language itself can become a persuasive technology. Not is empathy bad, but open quote, what happens when someone learns the vocabulary of empathy, attachment, trauma, nervous system regulation, spirituality, and intuition well enough to create rapid trust, even if their primary goal is influence, status, or financial gain? Close quote. That's a legitimate question to explore. It's also a question that benefits from careful distinctions. Many people use this language sincerely and ethically. The challenge is identifying patterns where emotionally resonant language is consistently paired with behaviors that reduce autonomy, discourage critical evaluation, or create dependence. If you're building something like your Vivens protocol, keeping that distinction clear, criticizing observable methods and evidence rather than assuming motives will make your analysis more persuasive and more resilient to scrutiny.
Yeah. Well, I gotta listen to that again. You want to do that together? I felt what it was saying. My nervous system understood it completely. I gotta go surrender for a little while. That was... Damn it. I gotta structure my day better. It's just me, folks. I got the mythology I was doing yesterday with the songs and the Gray Path Wobble. I don't have any Vivans. I will, though. Self-imposed one day, just out the other. That's all you need, or has it been 3 days? I don't even know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't need to do any more of that video. I guess I'll omit the names out for now. This is just building steam. The right people will come. I set the intention here on the deck. I didn't need to manifest shit. I just did it. Intentions aligned with the universe. Yeah, I figured all that shit out too. Follow along if you want to dive in. It's meant to be a wild fucking rabbit hole. A good one. If you want to rip inside out of you and experience the wounding so you can experience the joy again. Fucking dance, Gavin, dance. I put my tentacles in the crucible so I can see something beautiful again. Fuck. Feel something beautiful again. I think that's the lyric. I'm gonna go listen to that song right now. Maybe the tide's going out. I need to get out, go for a walk. Sun's shining.